Hey, what's up everybody? 8-Bit Flashback here. Today I'll be unboxing and testing a Nintendo Entertainment System action set that's 32 years old from 1988. I purchased this in as-is untested condition for only $50 at a local pawn shop, so I had no idea if it was complete or if it even worked. But $50 sounded like a great deal to me, so I took the gamble. And now it's time to find out if I bought an expensive box or gained some new treasure for my retro gaming collection. So here's a look at how it came packaged. It seems to have a power pad attached to the box with saran wrap and tape, along with a 3-in-1 cartridge featuring Super Mario, Duck Hunt, and World Class Track Meet. And hopefully they were smart enough not to directly attach any of this tape to the box, because that's going to cause some damage. But it looks like I lucked out here and there's no tape on the box. Here's that 3-in-1 cartridge, and the sleeve itself is filthy. I hope the game looks a little bit better. And it looks like the game is in okay condition. So these 3-in-1 cartridges were originally exclusive to the Nintendo Power Sets that were also released back in 1988. And this really brings back memories for me, because the Nintendo Power Set was my first Nintendo, and it was also the first console I ever purchased. I saved up chore money and lunch money for almost a year to get the Power Set. Here's a quick look at the power pad, side B, and this was the only side of the power pad I ever used because I only had one game, and that was World Class Track Meet. Years later, or I guess I should say decades later, I did try out another power pad game, and that was Street Cop. And let's just say, it's a weird game. Here's a look at the Nintendo action set. If it's complete, it should contain a Zapper, 2 controllers, a multi-cart, and the Nintendo console. The box itself is in okay shape, especially for how old it is, but it does have some wear on the corners and a couple small tears. The box does have a lot of very cool artwork, including screenshots of a few games, and a picture of a family playing the NES and all their 80s glory clothing. I guess I forgot how cool collared shirts and stripes were back then. And here's something that's really cool that's on the box. It's a price tag from Walmart for $99.76. And I believe when these were released, they were selling for $150. But by Christmas time, some of the stores such as Sears, KB Toys, Toys R Us, and Walmart dropped the price all the way to $99, which sounds like an amazing deal. But if you adjust for inflation, $99 in 1988 is equal to $220 in 2020. Okay, it's now time to see what's in the box. And it looks like it's pretty close to being complete. It even has the manuals. Here's a copy of Mario and Duck Hunt. It appears to be in really good shape. And of course I will test this along with everything else. So I have 2 Super Mario games, 2 Duck Hunt games, and 1 World Class Track Meet game. And it looks like I got a bonus here. This is a game Genie, and these definitely were not included in the action set. So this is a bonus. And you can get these for right around $15 a piece, so it's not a huge bonus, but it's something. The game Genies for the Nintendos were kind of bulky and weird. You had to plug this into the front of the cartridge, then plug both of these into the Nintendo, and the lid to the cartridge slot had to remain open. And when you wanted to remove these cartridges, you had to pull it by this black strap. Here's a look at the Nintendo Zapper, and this appears to be in pretty good shape, but it is filthy. Now, one thing I would like to mention about all the items I see in the box so far is it looks like there's some packaging missing. There should be clear plastic on the console, controllers, zapper, etc. Let's pull out one of the controllers and see how it looks. It appears to be in okay shape. It's definitely been well used, but all the buttons feel like they work. And we will give this a test here in a few. Here's the other controller. And this one is in quite a bit better shape. So maybe this was player 2 controller and it didn't get used that much. And one thing both of these controllers need really bad is cleaned. Here is the TV hookup. This would plug into the coaxial cable plug-in on your TV. Then the other end would plug into the RF connection on the back of the NES console. And I just noticed here, I'm missing the power supply. But luckily I do happen to have an extra power supply on hand, so this really isn't a big deal to me. But if I did have to buy one, it set me back about $15. Now it's time to check out the condition of the console itself, and it seems to be in really good shape. although it is incredibly dirty just like everything else. So with the original NESs, some very common damage you will find is that the corners will either be chipped, cracked, or just straight up broken. But on this one, the corners look great, besides being a little bit dirty with a couple scuff marks. The lid for the cartridge slot also seems to be in great condition, and that's another common thing that gets broken on the original NESs. Here's a look at the bottom of the console where the useless expansion port is located, although there was a couple prototype devices designed to work with the expansion port that never got released. One of the prototypes was a modem that was planned to be consumer tested in a small amount of homes in Minnesota, and this allowed you to access and play the Minnesota State Lottery. The modem would have plugged into the base of the NES, then connected to a phone line for internet access, along with a special cartridge that contained a user interface for the lottery. But unfortunately, this device was canceled before its planned testing. The second prototype was called the Batten Teleplay Modem. This would have enabled online gameplay for unlicensed games, but only between two consoles. They also talked about cross-platform online play. How crazy would that have been? NES console owners playing against Sega Genesis owners? 8-bit against 16-bit? Weird. Unfortunately, the creators never got proper funding, and ultimately the project got canceled. Okay, let's continue on with the unboxing. We still have a couple more things inside here. And this is the poster, and I was actually really surprised this was in the box. And overall, I'd say this poster is in pretty decent shape. They advertised quite a few games on here, such as Dance Aerobics, and I believe that was the first dance game to use some sort of dance pad, which would have been the Power Pad. We also got Super Mario Bros. 2, Metroid, Zelda, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out! All kinds of great games are being advertised on this poster. Now let's dig out the manuals and take a look at them. We have the Zapper Manual, the warranty card, and the Control Deck Manual. So let's go and take a look at that warranty card first. Important warranty information inside. And it looks like it had a 90-day limited warranty. And if you wanted to use this warranty, the card had to be filled out within 10 days after the purchase. So I'm only about 11,670 days late. This is the Control Deck Manual, and I really like the colors on the front and back of these. It's got the artwork that kind of matches the boxes. But inside the manual, it's all black and white. And this does show some illustrations of the Nintendo console and the various accessories, how to hook this up, and some troubleshooting tips. Here's a couple tips for you. Number 7, do not drop, bang, or abuse the NES components. Number 8, do not pull or yank the NES wires. Number 11, do not spill liquids on the control deck, game packs, or controllers. So I'm pretty sure over the years I broke at least a couple of these rules. And here's a quick look at the Zapper Manual. This shows you how to hook it up to the console and how to use it with your TV. And this also contains a parts list that's towards the back of the book that lists a bunch of different items, along with some prices. The AC adapter, $12. RF switch, $11, and a controller for $15. I also wanted to mention that the styrofoam that holds all the items inside the box is in pretty good shape overall. It does have a couple corners that are broken, but most of it's intact and plenty usable. Now it's time to pack everything up and head down to my game room and test this out to find out if my console actually works. So this is my console arcade room, and I got the perfect TV to hook up my NES console, the Sony Trinitron. For the audio and video, I'm just going to go ahead and use a pair of composite cables. And on the NESs, they only had the yellow and red output. So it only has mono audio output. And if you wanted to, when you hook up to your TV, you could use a splitter to get 2 audio channels, but this would not be true stereo sound. Now I'm going to hook up the other end of the cables to my Sony TV with only using the yellow and red. Now I'm hooking up the power supply and plugging in my bulky adapter to my surge protector. And this is the first controller I'm going to test out. And I'm also going to try out the Zapper. And I might as well try out the game Genie while I'm at it. So I'm going to plug that into the cartridge first, then plug both of these into the console. And it's usually a pretty snug fit when you're using the game Genie there. So I got to give it a little bit of extra push there. Now let's fire it up. And look at that. No blinking red light. And there's a look at the Game Genie menu. And I'm not going to use it just yet. I will be testing that here in a few. But right now what I am going to play is some Duck Hunt. So far, the controller seems to be working just fine. It's time to see if I still got it. So I should be able to shoot to start the game here. Alright, that's working. Now it's time to get me a duck. And I am not shooting the duck. Maybe there's something wrong with the gun. I always really hated that dog when he came up laughing, and I wish you had the ability to shoot him with your light gun. And I'm still not getting a duck. Okay, it's time to get serious. So with a little bit of practice, I was back to the hunter I remember. And the light gun seems to be working good. One more duck, and I get a perfect score. Got him. Now it's time to give the game Genie a test, and we're going to try out a code for Super Mario Bros. 1. This is GTTTTL. And with this code, this should allow Mario to just walk through all enemies. And right here, I am testing out the other controller, and it seems to be working great. So let's see if this code works. I should be able to walk right through the enemies. So it works with the Goombas. Now I'm going to try a Koopa. It didn't work. That's weird. So this code should work with all enemies. I'm going to try getting the mushroom first and get big. Maybe that makes a difference. So I'll get this. So I can walk through these guys, no problem. Now let me try walking through the Koopas. This feels kind of scary. Now it's working. So I guess you have to be big if you want to walk through the Koopas as well. So playing with this code feels really strange. I'm obviously aware that I can walk right through the enemies, but it feels really weird to just stand there and let them walk right through you. Now let's try out the 3-in-1 cartridge with world-class track meat. And power it up. And again, no blinking red light, so that's great. A lot of the original NESs had huge problems when you tried to load a game, you'd get that blinking red light. And a lot of times you'd have to either blow on the cartridge or put that cartridge in there just right to make it work. So the 3-in-1 cartridge appears to be working. Now it's time to find out if the power pad works. So it's going to get a little crazy here because I'm going to hold the camera while running on the power pad doing the 100-yard dash. And it seems to be working good, and I think I'm winning the race. I did win the race. But the computer's kind of slow, so it's time to race a real person. My son. Okay, he's a little faster.
How long is this race? I won.
Jesus. It's like a workout. Okay.
Now let's try the long jump out. So I believe you run as fast as you can till you hit the line at the end of the track, then jump off the pad, then jump back on. I landed it. Now it's my son's turn.
You're breathing hard.
So it seems like everything is in good working order with this action set and bonus items. The condition of the controllers and box is fair, but the condition of the console is pretty good. Everything just needs to be cleaned really, really badly. I purchased this set for $50 and I feel it's well worth it. It's close to being complete, but it was missing a few items, such as the AC adapter. The value of this action set with the bonus items I would say is somewhere around $100 to $125. It's not the greatest score, but it's decent, and I'm happy to add this to my collection. Well, I had a lot of fun today playing some of these older games, especially with the Power Pad and Duck Hunt. It's time for me to go. If you liked this video, if you could, hit that like button, and have yourself a great day, and I'll see you next time.